The hallway fell away beneath them, revealing a long, sweeping descent, opening onto a valley that looked carved rather than naturally formed, as if some ancient intelligence had pressed its thumb into the world and left a hollow for time to gather in. Leora slowed as the path widened, her eyes adjusting to the pale, diffused light that seemed to have no source. It wasn't sunlight, and it wasn't the eerie half-light of the dreaming world, which she had only imagined that those who slept knew. This was something older. Neren walked beside her in silence, every movement careful, listening as though the ground itself were speaking. And perhaps it was. At the heart of the valley stood a structure, unlike anything she had seen in all her years in the waking world. It wasn't built of stone or metal. It didn't appear crafted by hands or tools. It rose out of the earth in a smooth, spiraling ascent, a helix of translucent mineral that shifted between opacity and clarity depending on how she looked at it. A tower, a monument, a remnant. Yet it hummed faintly, like a held breath waiting to be released. Leora felt her pulse quicken. Is that one of theirs? Neren didn't answer at first. He circled the base slowly, his fingertips hovering just above the surface without touching it. The structure brightened when he neared, as though recognizing him or the movement of his thoughts. It is a memory, he said at last, left by the architects. One of the few that survived the collapse of the old world and the rise of the dreaming one. Leora swallowed. What does it remember? Neren studied the spiraling tower, the way the mineral caught the valley's dim light and bent it into shifting patterns. Patterns, he said. Possibility, design, a beat. It remembers us. A faint resonance rose from deep within the structure. Not a sound, but a vibration felt inside bone and breath. Leora stepped closer, compelled by something older than instinct. As she approached, the helix brightened again, and a ripple of light moved along its surface, forming symbols she almost recognized. Spirals, fractals, story threads, architect signatures. They didn't build things to be seen. Neren murmured, standing at her shoulder. Only to be found, to be understood. Leora's breath hitched. Why leave this here? For who? For whoever stayed awake long enough to reach it. She froze. You mean me? Neren's expression was unreadable, reverent and wary all at once. You've walked this world without shelter, without illusion, without the dream vessel to cradle your mind. You're the first in generations to find this place as a waking soul. Before she could reply, the helix shifted. A seam of light spiraled downward, opening like an eyelid, revealing a hollow chamber at its core. Not a door, an invitation. The air around them warmed, charged. The valley seemed to still. Neren stepped back. It's responding to you. Go on. Leora hesitated. The hollow glowed with the pulse of remembered consciousness. She placed her palm against the surface, and it softened, warming beneath her touch like living skin. Images rippled across the inner walls. Storms swallowing cities, the world collapsing inward. A great sleep descending over the survivors. And behind it all, spirals of pattern. The architects fracturing themselves into archetypes, embedding their guidance into the deep structure of mind. Not to rule, to endure. The structure brightened as Leora leaned in, breath trembling. This wasn't merely a monument, it was a message, left for whoever would one day stand awake between two worlds. She turned toward Neren, the light reflected in her eyes. What does it want me to see? She whispered. Neren's voice was soft, almost reverent. The beginning, he said, and the part you're meant to play in what comes next. The helix brightened again, ready to reveal more, but only if she stepped inside.